know what unsettles a woman more profoundly than anything else? It's not conflict, not tender words, not even thoughtful gifts. It's when a man she believed she had fully understood abruptly withdraws. Serenely, composed, without prelude. It leaves her disconcerted, reevaluating all she presumed certain. She'll be caught entirely off guard. 1. Silence resonates more powerfully than constant engagement. When you withdraw, the initial change occurs not externally, but within her thoughts. Women detect absence far sooner than they register clamor. Consider it. When a melody halts abruptly, your senses strain for the omitted note. The same transpires with your involvement. Perhaps you once phoned each evening. Or perhaps you consistently dispatched the morning greeting. When that modest custom vanishes, it's not overlooked. It reverberates. Initially, she assures herself, he's likely occupied. Yet inwardly, a subtle unease emerges because attentiveness is habit-forming, and you provided it generously. Now, your silence conveys more than countless phrases ever might. It declares, I'm not lingering. I'm not bound here. That poised detachment disturbs her far beyond any dispute. 2. Distance fosters intrigue. Picture a child engrossed with a plaything. As long as it's perpetually available, the child might discard it, diverted by alternatives. But the moment it's removed, it becomes the sole object of desire. Adults differ little. When you withdraw, you generate distance. And within that distance, intrigue flourishes. She begins pondering, where has he gone? What occupies him? Why is he absent as before? And intrigue wields immense influence. It draws her thoughts repeatedly to you. Not through coercion, but because absence invariably accentuates presence. 3. She senses the erosion of familiarity. Familiarity stems from regularity. And whether she acknowledges it or not, your involvement established a pattern in her world. Perhaps you invariably called during your midday break. Perhaps you forwarded spontaneous notes or inquired when she grew subdued. Those minor acts integrated into her sense of ease. Now, as you withdraw, the ease she depended upon starts to fade. She may not grasp it immediately, but eventually she'll pause in quietude and perceive an imbalance. It's that absent element, the steadiness she derived from your reliability. This doesn't manifest as sorrow outright. Frequently it's merely disquiet, a faint void she can't articulate. But disquiet escalates. And over time she recognizes that it was you who occupied that space. You who provided ease and manners she hadn't appreciated previously. And here's the fascinating aspect. Individuals seldom cherish ease until it's withdrawn. Reflect on your preferred seat. You don't appreciate its comfort until it's absent. That's precisely how your withdrawal operates. She might have undervalued your contributions, but now that they're gone, she apprehends their significance. This insight prompts introspection. Did I undervalue him? Was I overly aloof? Did I presume his perpetual availability? Withdrawing compels her to examine her own contributions to the dynamic. And that disquiet, it's the catalyst for transformation. Your absence doesn't merely spark intrigue. It compels her to recognize your true importance. 4. Her sense of assurance is disrupted. Frankly, many women grow accustomed to viewing your attentiveness as assured. It bolsters the self-regard. It affirms their desirability, significance, command. And when you cease that ongoing validation, the initial fracture isn't emotional. It's in her self-assurance. Initially, she may dismiss it. He's merely preoccupied. He'll return. But as the quietude persists, her self-assurance poses unwelcome inquiries. Why isn't he pursuing? Has interest waned? Has another drawn his focus? And this stings. Not from affection, but because her perception of dominance is contested. She believed she held you firmly. She assumed you'd persist regardless. But when you withdraw, you illustrate that you're not an inexhaustible well of focus. You're an individual with limits. This disruption is potent. It alters her view of you. Not as the one who invariably responds, but as the one who prioritizes self-respect enough to distance himself. And whether she concedes it or not, that commands admiration. Her self-assurance may oppose. She might probe, dispatch tentative lures, attempt to revert to prior habits. But when you remain unmoved, poised and grounded, she must confront reality. She doesn't possess your focus. And nothing tempers self-assurance swifter than grasping it never held sway. 5. Sentiments contend with her rationale. She'll convince herself indifference prevails. She'll reiterate it steadfastly. If he withdraws, that's his concern. I'm unperturbed. But sentiments heed not rationale. And as dusk settles, when the device remains silent, when she peruses feeds and your identifier fails to appear, that's when fissures emerge. Rationale asserts, he's doubtless engaged. But sentiment murmurs, why is he absent? This inner conflict drains her. Externally, she'll feign composure. She may share updates, socialize merrily, even disregard you overtly. But internally, she bears the burden of your void. Each passing day without your focus inclines the balance toward sentiment. Humans are sentient beings foremost, rational secondarily. And when a woman acclimates to your involvement, withdrawing it generates a sentimental chasm no rationale can bridge. She may not voice it, but she experiences it. She senses the bite of your quietude in manners language can't conceal. That's when she commences yearning for you, not intellectually, but viscerally. 6. She initiates pursuit unwittingly. When you were the perpetual initiator, scheduling encounters, commencing dialogues. She needed no exertion. She grew habituated to stasis, certain you'd bridge the gap. But when you withdraw, when communications cease, when you halt pursuit, a compelling shift occurs. She commences pursuing you, frequently unaware. It often begins modestly. She might forward an informal greeting unexpectedly or affix an emoticon to your content. Occasionally it's more nuanced. She might reference you to shared acquaintances, anticipating relay. Perhaps she coincidentally appears where you're probable. All this seems innocuous superficially, but observe keenly, it's her re-entering your realm. Here's the essence. Women seldom concede pursuit. Dignity intervenes, but instinct reveals truth. When you eliminate your involvement, she registers it. And that registration propels behavior. It's not initially about devotion. It's about reinstating the equilibrium she enjoyed. She was accustomed to being sought, valued, courted. Now the void compels her to advance as she never envisioned. This is why withdrawal succeeds solely with serenity, not resentment. If you retreat in ire, she recoils. But if you withdraw with tranquil assurance, it forges an allure. She can't withstand approaching. The elegance of this transition is its subtlety. You're no longer pursuing. She's originating. And even if merely a brief note, it signifies the paradigm has altered. She's now committing exertion, even if dignity precludes full acknowledgement. And herein lies your fortitude. Don't hasten to seize it. Permit her exertion to accumulate. Allow her intrigue and disquiet to evolve into substantive engagement. Because when she initiates pursuit, when she inclines toward you, it's no longer solely about you. It's about her grasping the worth of what she nearly forfeited. That transition is profound. It positions her as the one striving to regain your focus. And that's something she'll never voice but profoundly senses. 7. Admiration subtly resurfaces. Admiration underpins allure. Without it, all affection, synergy, and bond ultimately erode. And here's the stark reality. When you're invariably accessible, perpetually contributing, relentlessly pursuing, admiration gradually diminishes. She may value your endeavors, but she doesn't admire the absence of limits. When you withdraw, transformation ensues. Abruptly, she perceives you anew. You're not the individual pleading for fragments of her availability. You're not the one whose existence orbits her replies. You're the individual capable of self-sufficiency. And that, in her view, merits admiration. Reflect upon it. How does admiration for another develop? It's seldom from total surrender. It's typically from unyielding resolve where frailty was anticipated. They demonstrated resilience amid expectation of capitulation. That's precisely what your withdrawal conveys. It's not severe. It's not unkind. It's tranquil resilience. Initially, she may oppose. She may probe. Attempt to discern if you'll yield. But when you maintain steadiness, when you demonstrate your existence isn't dictated by her involvement, admiration subtly reinstates. She starts viewing you distinctly, not as manipulable, but as worthy of earnest pursuit. And here's the insight. Admiration is magnetic. Women may relish focus, but what they genuinely seek is a man worthy of esteem, one evoking pride. By withdrawing, you subtly evolve from the foreseeable pursuer to the man cognizant of his value. That subdued admiration is what revitalizes allure. Because passion absent admiration fades swiftly, but admiration fosters endurance, and once she recommences admiring you, she can't resist renewed gravitation. 8. The apprehension of forfeiture emerges. In there arrives a juncture when she comprehends this separation isn't pretense. You're not merely occupied. You're not simply diverted. You've genuinely distanced. And when that comprehension dawns, apprehension embeds. The apprehension of forfeiting you. Forfeiture ranks among humanity's strongest impetuses. We defend impending loss more fiercely than current possession. And as your involvement recedes, she internalizes that apprehension profoundly. What if he's advancing? What if another occupies his sphere? What if opportunity has slipped? This apprehension isn't always overt. She may not articulate it freely, but her conduct narrates. She'll initiate contact increasingly. She'll monitor your digital footprint. She'll assess for alterations, for variances. That's the apprehension operating covertly in her psyche. And here's the paradox. This apprehension arises not from orchestration. It stems from your void illuminating your worth. While you remained constant, she deemed you irreplaceable. But now, departed, the verity clarifies. You're not assured. That comprehension profoundly unsettles her because now she's compelled to envision existence sans you. And for many women, that apprehension serves as the unforeseen revelation. 9. She extends herself innovatively. Once apprehension establishes, her conduct transforms. She doesn't merely yearn, she responds. Abruptly, she's originating contact. But this instance varies. She's not merely offering a perfunctory salutation. She's investing meaningfully. Perhaps she inquires about your well-being. Perhaps she expresses regret for prior detachment. Perhaps she evokes shared recollections to rekindle. These modest advances are her reconstructing the connection she permitted to deteriorate. And it's deliberate. It's because your quietude prompted contemplation. Crucial here is your response. Don't hasten. Don't revert to former routines. Allow her exertion to demonstrate persistence because singular outreach may be fleeting. But when she sustains contact, when she persists in reconnection, that's when you discern the withdrawal succeeded. Her extending is not frailty. It's enlightenment. It's her comprehending the necessity of reciprocity. And for the first time, she experiences what you endured, the labor of endeavor. That's when the paradigm solidifies permanently. 10. You recapture your essence. The ultimate phase is paramount and concerns not her, but you. Withdrawing isn't merely a mechanism to alter interactions. It's a means of reclaiming autonomy. When you cease pursuit, you apprehend the vitality expended. Vitality that might have fueled your advancement, well-being, aspirations. Withdrawing restores that vitality. It reaffirms that your existence isn't orbiting a woman. It's orbiting you. This doesn't entail ceasing affection or concern. It means halting supplication. You cease excess contribution. You commence operating from empowerment, not necessity. And that alteration transforms all. Because here's the paradox. The more self-reliant you stand, the more compelling you become. Women gravitate toward men who choose them without needing them. By withdrawing, you affirm your completeness independently. And that's irresistible. So indeed, withdrawing may unsettle her. It may evoke yearning, pursuit, apprehension of loss. But the supreme benefit is what it bestows upon you. Liberation. Liberation from reliance, from pleading, liberation to embody your intended self. And that is something she will never anticipate. Ultimately, withdrawing isn't about manipulation. It's not about retribution. It's not about inciting envy. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your serenity, your hours, and your resilience. Because when you cease investing misplaced, you uncover silence's profound potency. She will observe. She will sense it. She will ponder your whereabouts. But more crucially, you will observe yourself. You will feel empowered, unburdened, liberated, and that's the true triumph. Not her response, but your evolution. So the next occasion you're inclined to overextend, recall this. Your quietude can articulate what verbiage never could. And when you ultimately withdraw, she'll never see it coming. If this resonated with you today, don't merely proceed. Activate that subscription, because here on InspireX Motivation, we issue saccharine illusions. We deliver the verities others evade too.